Can you tell which of these children was not born free? Can you tell which of these children was not born equal? Can you tell which of these children does not deserve to be treated with dignity? We can't either. Human right number one, we are all born free and equal.
Welcome, viewers, to today's podcast. We have a very interesting discussion. We want to talk about the Universal Declarations for Human Rights under the United Nations. My name is Blasius, and I have my wonderful panelists here. Kindly introduce yourself. Like we said, we are going to talk about the Universal Declarations for Human Rights, and it's a very, very interesting discussion. And we're focusing on the Article 1. And so we want to know generally what is the United Nations Declarations for Human Rights about?
Okay, the United Nations Declaration of Human Rights is about 30 articles, which were composed by for marginalized people in our society.
Very good. So you mentioned that it's created to ensure that people are not marginalized. And you also mentioned that it has 30 articles. But then today we want to focus on Article 1 of these particular declarations. So what is the Article 1 about?
Okay, the Article 1 talks about all human beings are equal in rights and dignity.
So looking at the Universal Declarations for Human Rights, Article 1, which says that all humans are born free and they have dignity. What are some of the benefits of this particular article?
Yes, I think it's important. For instance, educational impact. When my colleague said human beings are born free, so everybody has the opportunity to be educated.
Another benefit is that when we're able to promote this article, it will help prevent conflict and also promote peace building in our society or in our country.
Okay, and also talks about it protect the right of the marginalized people, or those who are marginalized or those who are less. This rights protect them. This laws also bring them, or actually it include them to the society. So it is an inclusivity.
So you mentioned the law including people in society. So can you share an experience where you witness people acting in that spirit of brotherhood?
Okay, when people act in the spirit of the I first and foremost say, our institution like the spirit of the is here in the sense that they have created an area, a space for persons with disability where they write exams. Not only that, they provided shuttles for them, which has hydroelectric. So those who are mobility impaired, those who cannot go the mass through their legs, or those who use wheelchair, can use the one with hydraulic lift. All these things are in the sense of inclusivity, making those marginalized people or the persons with disability more comfortable and more pertinent to the academic institution.
Wow. Yeah. So with what you've said, you've made us understand that this particular article is very important because it helps bring people together and ensure that people are integrated into society very well. Amazing. So does that mean that this article doesn't have any challenges, or are there some challenges implementing this particular article in Ghana and in the world globally? Looking at people's cultural diversity and all of that, are we saying that this article doesn't have any challenges?
Well, it has a lot of challenges. There is lack of awareness on education. Most of the people or citizens in the country or or members of the UN do not know there are certain rights that protect them about their equality and equity and fairness in the society. So I think there should be more education. There should be more education on these rights or this article.
Okay, what I can say about the challenges you are facing is the cultural diversity. Some cultures or some cultures will not permit certain things like if you are a person with disability, you are not included in the society. Everything that you do, they exclude you. So it's like a kind of challenges or a kind of challenge that this article is facing because when you are dealing with culture, it's very much a sensitive topic, and everyone values their culture and they are not. So it is very difficult for this article to rule or come into existence. All these there, but to work effectively because of their some cultural values and cultural norms that are in our country because we have diverse cultural.
Very good. So, back on the issue of cultural diversity and all of that, have you or anyone witnessed a situation where you are excluded from society because of a situation?
Okay, I will say yes. Due to my situation as a mobility investment, where my primary school, I was rejected by the school because of my mobility impairment. The notion that I can't go to school. And Africa have a perception of people with disability like they are consumer, they are like a case, yeah, for the society. So always society doesn't pay much attention to person with disability, the vulnerable agent. So they rejected me because of that notion that maybe it's a case, child or something. So this one of the particular challenges Ghana is facing.
Okay, due to my gender as a female, I was willing to go for security work, but my parents did not allow me to go for it.
Based on your gender. Alright. But then this article seeks to promote equality in all forms
Yes.
and ensure that humans have the dignity and the worth. Is that not it?
Yes.
So that is really a challenge that we are facing. I get it. Alright, so looking at these challenges that we've talked about, are there some measures that the country and then the United Nations can put in place to ensure that we reduce or we minimize or we eliminate these challenges? What are the solutions you think the government can put in place to?
Okay, so we can get our solutions from the challenges that we raised about. Like there was lack of awareness when it comes to the challenges. So I think there should be an educational campaign on this article when it comes to equality and equity and fairness among human beings who are under the UN. Because most of the people don't know that there is this article when their rights and freedoms are being infringed upon in the society. They don't know, they just sit back home. It is my destiny for me to be maltreated, for my right to be violated. No, it's not your destiny. There are laws which enforce or which are enforced in order to protect you as a citizen and a human being. So I think if there is much education, mostly in the rural areas or the undeveloped countries, I think it will help in order to promote or hold this article in the highest.
Also, we should just from favoritism, ethnocentrism, and the rights because when ethnocentrism and favoritism like tribalism takes place, some of the citizens right will be getting in the sense that maybe the opportunity will be given to other person instead of the rightful person. So if we forgo about all those tribalism, favoritism, ethnocentrism, I think it will reduce. Although it cannot eliminate all the problems, but it can reduce it. The enforcement, I can talk about the law enforcement. The laws are there, but you should be strictly enforced. If you infringe on someone's rights, you should be punished for it.
Okay, I also talk about well, my friend says education or they should educate those people. But I think people are educated, but still they don't go by whatever they be taught. Because way back in my rural area, there was two partners, a teacher, one teacher, and then they got married. Unfortunately, they gave birth to a special child, but due to the child's situation, they want to throw the child away, and then they go by whatever they want to do by saying if they do some if they perform some rites, that child may turn to a snake and that person may go. But unfortunately, as they perform that action, the child didn't die. But they go by saying they can't stay with that special child because he's not well fit with whatever they want to do. So I think education too is there, but they have to be a rule that will make sure that whoever go by anything, that person should be punished.
Thank you so much, Pano, for this amazing, detailed discussion. So, before we conclude, I have a very short question again. That is about our Ghanaian contest. Are we trying to say that aside this Article 1, there hasn't been anything done by our forefathers to ensure that people's rights are not trampled upon? Do our forefathers have a system to ensure that we lived a kind of equal life, or it was just like this since the beginning?
There were, you see, because of cultural diversity, first we assume women were born for the kitchen and that they were not made to educate. But this right, I want to emphasize on everyone is accessible or have the right to be educated. But first there were norms and values which they used to protect human rights. But these rights, equality and equity were not fair. But it was assumed maybe in a culture where someone is, they assume a woman is born for the kitchen. It is a right, but that's not what the universal declaration does say. It means that if not every man is supposed to be educated in the society, a woman is also supposed to be educated. When it comes to gender roles, everyone needs to perform his duty unexpected of him or her. Yeah, that's it. Wow.
Thank you very much for that contribution. It's very, very important that we understand that there were certain conditions that were put in place to ensure that everyone's dignity was to some extent be respected. But then the Article 1 came to amplify it to make sure that it extends to everyone. Is that not?
Yes.
Very good. All right, so we've had a very detailed conversation today. Do you have any concluding thoughts for our viewers or any recommendations, any last words?
Okay, as Article 1 talks about equality, I think everything that we do among us should be equal. Shouldn't be me knowing someone or someone knowing me. Yeah, so with that one, it can improve everything that we lack in our system.
Okay, one thing I also say that, and I always used to say, no matter how the person is, whether rich, poor, a white man or a black man, whether the kind of culture the person is coming from, you should respect their rights and freedom. As far as there is blood flowing through the person is still a human being. So we should respect them, treat them fairly, ensure that if the resources they are needed, we can find ways and means within the government system, within our traditional system to help them. We should try and help them. And we should not also violate their rights. They are also human beings like us. It is just by circumstance or unexpected circumstance that they end up poor or rich or something like that. Anything can happen.
Wow. Wow. Thank you very much, Pano, for this amazing contributions from you. And thank you, viewers. We have come to the end of our podcast. We believe we have been able to educate you on the United Nations Declarations for Human Rights. We talked about the benefits, some of the challenges in our Ghanaian context. We also proposed some recommendations that can be used to correct the challenges in our Ghanaian context. And we also give some real-life examples and scenarios. We believe that all what we discussed here today, understood. If you have any question, kindly ask in the comment section. Make sure you like our video See you some other time. Thank you for staying.